Hello everybody, how are you going? And welcome to TikToks that show us the stranger Canadian traditions.
Honey, the blinds. I keep telling you to close the blinds.
It's cold?
I mean, what is going on? Is it a big deal?
Yes, everyone can see us. It's dark, and here
Fair
there's
enough.
lights, so everyone can see us. We don't want that.
And what?
I don't want that people in the street see me. It's like privacy.
Yeah.
Do you know that people in Europe, they don't have blinds at all
I
in some
don't care.
countries?
I don't care. I know, but not me. Not here.
Interesting. What? Hang on. Before you go even any further than that, people in Europe don't have blinds? I would have thought that that's where they would have been invented in terms of more proximal living to one another. You want to be shutting everyone out, or if nothing else, keeping the heat that you're generating in. To be fair, a little blind like that isn't going to be doing much. You are going to be wanting more of a fabric draft stopper, if that's still going to be a thing, but then that's not a thing in modern houses as much, so she's just got a point.
Not here.
What are you doing, honey?
Full door.
I'm pulling down the blinds because we're leaving.
Leaving.
Yeah, but why don't you do that completely?
Oh.
So it doesn't look suspicious. If they're down completely for days, people are gonna know that we're not here.
What?
This way, they don't really see inside, so they don't know if we're here or not. It's to trick them. They're not gonna come and steal our stuff.
What?
My goodness, is it a Canadian superstition?
No, I mean, my parents do that. That's just logic, honey. You don't want that people know that you're gone and they come here and steal your stuff.
Okay.
This way, we trick them.
I don't know if that's really a trick if everyone's going to be doing it. Like I said, if this is truly a Canadian tradition and she's doing it, her parents are doing it, all their friends are doing it, then I feel like then everyone's going to very quickly cotton on to go, well, the blinds are at half mast, and so that must mean that they're gone for a week. If they were fully down, I'd think they were doing some dodgy stuff in there, and I wouldn't dare go near it. But half mast blinds, free reign, let me just go. Let alone if they're just fully open, then at least I can just see in and make the decision one way or another. I can see that they're there, I can see that they're not there. Sorry, I understand that, but either close them or don't. I mean, unless you're going to have fully smart automation, crazy blinds go up and down, I don't really think that closing the blinds to that degree is going to do anything. They're going to be firstly noticing the cars, secondly if you're going to be having no lights on, or if you're just going to be having one lamp on in the corner, it's probably going to be a little bit more suspicious than just doing that. So I definitely agreed with her in the first part in terms of, okay, closing the blinds so people don't see in, because like she said, it's dark outside, and especially if you're going to be having those cold, long nights, then that's a lot of time if the sun is going down at 4 p.m. and still not up at 8 a.m. That's a long time for people to be awake and doing things and just seeing in your house, but then just to be keeping robbers out, I don't think blinds really work that way.
One weird Canadian culture thing that we don't talk about is taking off your shoes, and how
Okay.
the rules for taking off your shoes changes not between regions, not between provinces, but between cities. Every
Cities?
Canadian city has different unspoken rules about when you take your shoes off when you're in public and what constitutes taking off your shoes once you enter a place. And it varies depending on the season and what kind of building you're entering.
Okay,
I lived
that
in one
makes
city.
sense.
You took off your shoes everywhere. Every public building that you entered, you took off your shoes. Libraries, unless you're wearing bare feet.
What?
Any office, you took off your shoes. My office, most people walked around in
That's-
sock feet because you would never wear your outdoor shoes. The
That's
city I grew up
nuts.
in, you always wear your shoes unless you're entering like a medical office, like a private medical office. And if it was winter, fall and winter when your boots got mucky. The
That
city I'm
one's
in
the-
now, you would never
makes
take off your
sense.
shoes. No one ever takes off their shoes or
Yeah.
walks around sock feet, ever.
What's
It's this
going
one
on here?
niche Canadian cultural thing that varies by city for no
Wow.
reason. One
That's
weird.
crazy, the fact that it can vary so much, but I'm also just blown away by the fact that people are taking off their shoes in majorly public places, like in libraries and in offices. Like generally, in my experience of anywhere Australia, I don't know anyone that goes, yes, let me just enter this public place and take off my shoes. Like, what, do you go to the shops and just take off your shoes? Like, do you have thousands of pairs of shoes just lined up? Look, the only one that makes sense is when they're mucky and dirty and everything, but even then, people are generally on the mindset of, well, it's not really my problem, and I don't want to be bearing people with the smell and everything else that can come with just taking off your shoes, so they kind of go, well, I'm not going to be taking off my shoes even if they are wet. Like I said, it's not really the same wet as Canada has in terms of it's not wet and mucky and snow and everything like that, so that I can make sense, but then you need to be bringing 2 pairs of shoes instead of just taking off your shoes and just going barefoot, or I guess she said not barefoot, but it just, instead of going sock foot, then just bring a separate pair of shoes, like wear your gumboots and then bring your dress shoes for inside. That would be more going, okay, that makes sense. You don't want to be mixing the two and just leaving trails of mud everywhere you go, but just to be having I would love to know. She didn't say, is it going to be Ottawa? Is it going to be Toronto? Where is it going to be? And especially considering all these cities are right next to one another, unless you're going all the way to one coast or the other, then why is it varying so much? And really, which one is which? Please let me know, because I can understand maybe if in all of BC it's a thing, but then she even just said cities and not just provinces.
Canadian tipping culture is a masterclass in gaslighting.
Okay.
If you go to any food establishment in Canada to either dine in, take out, or get delivery, you're expected to tip somewhere between 18 and 20%.
Okay.
Why? Because the wait staff relies on those tips to earn a living wage, which in itself is just crazy. Why aren't they just paid a living wage to begin with? But let's just put that to the side for 1 second.
Right.
Then you go to the wait staff and you ask them, hey, do you get the tips that I pay you? And in many cases, the answer is no. The tip goes into a pool and is shared with the other people who work at the restaurant, so the back of the house, chefs, dishwashers and such, because they also rely on your tips,
which makes more
for a
sense,
living wage. This causes all sorts of bizarre situations. I talked to one friend of mine who works for a restaurant, and he said he tries to get specific shifts because the people who work front of the house on those shifts get more tip. And that means he gets more pay if the right people are working front of the house. So there's actually a competition in the restaurant for who gets to work what shifts so that they get more pay, which is bonkers.
I love it in a way in terms of how people are actually just manipulating the entire thing, going, well, I can understand how I'm not front of house, I'm not serving everyone, but if the rule is all the tips are shared, then you bet your bottom dollar that I'm going to be trying to make the most money by getting with the people that make the most money. It is really going to be that simple, and for them, it's a little bit of a disappointment, I can only imagine, because they're either able to get more because of many factors, or they're just, I don't know, better at their job. They don't get to reap 100% of the rewards that they are actually directly contributing to. I mean, they do or would still get a percentage that would be higher than if they were doing a bad job, but still, you're not going, oh, I walked away with $1,000 tonight because I did such a good job. You're going, I walked away with $50 extra than I otherwise would have. And so just to be having that entire manipulative market, but I guess in a way it makes people work as a team more almost, in terms of if the serving and the food comes out quicker, then that is going to be representative of the people back of house. And so even though you're the front of house person, that's nothing to do with you, but then you would get the tips because the food came out quickly. That's not really fair either. I've never really thought about that.
How my life changed with the beginning of my first winter in Canada. Now I spend hours getting dressed. It's a lot of fun because even taking out the trash is stressful for me. I hope I get used to it. I am shocked when I see Canadians in pajamas in the front yard. How do you survive?
So I got a little bit sidetracked about what did they just do in terms of they took it to like a community bin center. What is this thing? Oh, there was a sign in the background. I didn't really get to read it. Where was it? Household something. So household garbage, no personal waste. Is that what it says? If he ever gets out of the way, no personal items, furniture, or electronics. What are these massive bins? As they certainly aren't directly at the front door, but he just leaves here, unless that's an entire kind of unit, apartment block, it almost looks like, and so they're just outside. But then why would they be just outside and not, I don't know how else you'd manage it, but why are they then not undercover? Why are they like that? I've never seen anything like that, not even in a park setting, or honestly, that's the closest I could ever get to it, would be just in a park, you see these big kind of commercial waste bins, but then that's public bins. Or no, not public bins. That's private bins. So I'm so confused. I mean, I'm not confused by the fact that it would take hours to get dressed just to be taking the rubbish out. If it is minus 40, minus 30, even minus 20, stuff it, even 0 degrees, you're just going to be getting nice and toasty. It's just a 1 minute run. I guess if you were feeling really adventurous and absolutely Canadian, you can just be doing it in your t-shirt and shorts and just going out there in 30 seconds and coming back. But you don't want to be taking any longer than that because, well, you probably will get stuck out there. But still, what are these bins? I'm so confused by that. Oh, yeah. Oh, what is it? Oh, it is butter tarts, just like that. I had to check, but look at that. Oh, they look so good, and they've not even got anything in them yet. Oh, let's just see how it all goes. I have to make them sometime. Look at this. It just looks so simple. Oh, what was that? What was that? Was that vanilla with cream? I'm not sure, but man, look at that. Just, they're so easy. Oh, more again. Well, I just obviously watching it again, but man, you could just watch that over and over and over again, just going, oh, they're done, they're ready. I ate them all, and then I just got to be making some more, and then I ate them all, and then I just got to be making some more, and then I ate them all, and then I just got to be making some more. Honestly, I don't know how anyone would ever say thin if they truly are that easy. I would love to know how, or roughly how long it would take. I'm sure it would take me a lot longer than whoever is making this, someone that is going to be quite the professional, but I do want to come and see what was it back here. I guess, is that vanilla? Is it maple? It's just so dark. I don't really know what would be that dark. Oh, actually, here we go. 3 tablespoons of vanilla extract. That is a lot, but I guess you are making a lot. And then 3 tablespoons, half and half cream. What's half and half cream? Is that like semi-skimmed, slightly runny? It's not going to be sour cream. What is it possibly going to be? What is half and half cream? I've never heard of that. Regardless, I'm sure that it makes the entire thing taste very, very tasty, and just filling all of these up to the right amount would make a big difference so that you don't just have a explosion in the oven and have the entire tray just, I guess it would be all kind of cooked on the metal if you didn't do it properly and it just spilled over, just burning the whole thing. That would be quite a day ruiner. But like I said, I would love to try these sometime, and maybe if I'm able to make them, I guess if I can even find all the ingredients. To be fair, they did list them. That's a pound of butter I'm reading. That's crazy. A pound of butter. Whoa. 1 package of brown sugar. How many are they making? 8 eggs. This is a lot. Okay, that's why it's a pound of butter. If you're using 8 eggs and 3 tablespoons of vanilla extract, it's clearly making a lot, but we only saw, what, 1 tray, 2 trays? I wonder how many more you could make, or do you just get, what is it, 24 here? I guess 24 is a decent amount, but still, for a pound of butter, that feels like you're catering for a town. Things that surprised me in Toronto after living in Saskatchewan, what's it going to be? Well, people don't suffer from the cold and everything looks like summer. And no one wears cowboy hats, and plastic bags are legal. Oh, originally my brain read that as illegal, as that's more of a prominent thing that you would read, but no, plastic bags are legal in Toronto compared to Saskatchewan. Wow. Is it just all plastics, or is it just kind of this single-use plastic bags, or how does the entire thing work? Because, look, Australia tried to do it, and I guess to a point, in a way it worked. At least it put people in the right mindset. But at the same time, everyone just went and then printed, oh, I am a reusable bag on the side of single-use plastic bags. So then they just met the legislation, and it basically just got swept under the rug. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world that isn't policed at all. And like I said, I guess at least just put it in people's mind for 5 seconds, but man, it would have been way better if they could actually have followed through with it. Also, why does everything look like summer? What do you mean looks like summer? Actually, do they mean because it's not covered in full 6 feet of snow? Is that what they're talking about there? I guess. I mean, it still looks cold in terms of this big puffer jacket. It might be -5 or something, but it's not covered in snow. And then, of course, just the fact that they snuck in no one wears cowboy hats, which, to be honest, I never would have thought that really anywhere in Canada wears cowboy hats. That just feels like a southern USA thing only. But I guess if you can just translate it straight vertical, straight from Texas, straight up into Saskatchewan, then it makes sense as well. If nothing else, just to be keeping the snow off you instead of keeping the sun off you, beating down on you all day. Things that just make sense in a Canadian Christmas party. All right, what have we got? Muklux boots. I haven't heard of those. A raw veggie platter with its dip, fair enough. What have you got? And food kept outside. What? The jacket's stacked on the bed, okay. There's going to be a lot of jacket. It's a potluck. Huh? I'm so confused. A real Christmas tree hand cut in the forest. Yes, that one's not confusing at all. But what are some of these things? And why have I not heard of some of them? I mean, maybe it's going to be regional traditions, but what were these Muklux boots? I can only imagine these, or maybe all of those, but I've never really seen them, especially not named like that. They look like a traditional wear. Of course, they were always going to be having a name, but I've never really heard them described as anything in particular, more so as just a warmer outfit, especially if you are just going to be wearing the full thing to be keeping the snow off you. Raw veggie platter with its dip, I guess it makes sense. I mean, to be honest, it's a bit cold. A lot of these things is a bit cold, especially keeping beverages. I guess that could make sense, but food outside. Why would you ever be keeping your food outside? This feels like it's almost an antonym of what would actually be happening. You have all this hot food, presumably, and then you're putting it outside? Why would you ever do that? I mean, unless you're trying to preserve it, you've just got like the icebox, the igloo icebox esky outside, then sure. But otherwise, why would you be keeping things outside? there's clearly going to be room somewhere. It's either going to be in people or on the table or in the oven, basically. So why would you put it outside? I mean, the jacket's on the bed. That just makes sense. Like I said, everyone's going to be having a lot of jackets. But then that clearly says that it's cold, so then why are you going to be putting the food outside? And then lastly, it does say it's a potluck, which I'm going to presume means there's a spread on, where you can just grab a bit of this and a bit of that, and there's plenty of food to go around. Maybe people bring a whole bundle of different things, or that person brings that, and that person brings that, and everyone just combines it all together. But maybe I'm wrong. As a potluck, I've never used or heard that word before. American finding out about a chilling Canadian tradition, what's planting your head in the snow? Oh, that just like, it feels like it's keeping kids of all ages just busy all winter long and being unreasonably tempted to do it. Man, obviously we didn't get to see it, but that kind of reminds me of, I don't know what the name of it would be, but the object that has like a bunch of pins in it, and you can put your face or your hand or really anything into it, and then of course it just outlines it by pushing it through to the other side, where this is more the opposite of that in terms of its compacting it, but it does look pretty tempting in terms of you could put all sorts of things in there. You could even just decorate your own face, I guess, if you wanted to. Use it as a mold maker. Whatever you want to be doing, the snow will comply, as long as it's soft enough. You don't want to be doing it on icy stuff, I'm sure. Just end up with a shard of ice in your eye and just compacting your face into basically concrete. I do now want to be knowing though, how long do you need to be sticking your face in the snow? As is it trying to be using the heat of your head just to be trying to melt into the snow correctly, or are you just going whack and just trying to just get all of the imprint across in one foul swoop, like transferring makeup or almost onto a pane of glass, just really going for it? I mean, you can clearly see that they've got the entire scarf, or was it a toque? Or what? I guess it would be a toque. Maybe it's just their hair. I don't know what's in the top there. Maybe it's just a hole in the snow, but they've done pretty well to translate their facial features. So this is something that I can understand that, like I said, from adults to kids, everyone's going to be doing it, and you can really just maybe mush someone's head into the snow if you're feeling a little bit too sibling jealous, so to say.